Welcome, in front of me is the OPPO Reno 6 Pro, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this phone. So let's get straight to it. I'll mention I did already set up the device, so it is technically unboxed, but the experience is virtually the same. So unboxing, packaging, fairly solid, but nothing out the top. Then we have the OPPO branded packaging right here, this weirdly textured paper. And inside we do have a, oh, damn it, dropped it. We do have this, a little SIM eject tool, some paperwork, and obviously casing. Then we get the phone itself, just yeet it out of the box. Like I mentioned, it's already set up. And then below that we have a little useless piece of paper. Whopping, what is it, 60, I think 5-watt charger. Let's just quickly see. Yep, 65 watts. Barely visible, last line. So yeah, there we go. And additionally, cable. Most likely to get the 65 watt charging on this phone, you probably need to use this cable specifically. And that's all. Actually, we don't have any headphones in here, which they did come included with the OPPO Reno 6. Not sure why they didn't come with the 6 Pro, unless it was the other way around and someone switched it. Anyway, just gonna pop out the phone out of here. There we go. So there is our device. So let's get started with the display. That is a 6.55 inch AMOLED display. Or Super AMOLED, with a 90 Hz refresh rate, which is kind of weak. I would have expected it to have actually a little bit better than 90 Hz. Let me just quickly double check it though. Yep, 90 Hz max. So there we go. So 90 Hz resolution 1080p by 2400, pixel density of 402 pixels per inch, and 88.8% screen to body ratio with a curved display, as you can see. So it does wrap around a little bit around the edge. It's not a significant curve. If I max out the brightness, you can barely see the actual screen. Let me just kind of, you can see just a titsy bit of movement on it. So yeah, not much. There is a curve, but it's barely visible. Now when it comes down to build quality, it feels like this is plastic. Let me see if there is anything written about this. So I don't see anything, but yeah, this feels like plastic. We have triple camera setup, aluminum frame, glass front obviously. And when it comes down to those cameras at the back, as you can see, it's a little nice array. Actually not triple, I think this is a quad camera setup actually. So the main sensor is a 50 megapixel wide sensor, then we got a 13 megapixel telephoto, 16 megapixel ultra wide, and 2 megapixel macro. Damn it, why? So apparently they included the 2 megapixel garbage trash in the OPPO Reno 6, and they still went with the 6 Pro, also including this absolute horrific garbage. This macro is absolutely effing useless. And actually, just to put that, just to show you how useless this is, because this is a sight to behold, to be honest. Where's the camera? Oh, there we go. So there's my little photo body for capturing, obviously. What the heck? That is mildly interesting. Where is the macro? Is it in like the zoom? No way. Trying to find this, geez. So not only they include a absolute trash for camera, at least one of them, they also go out of their damn way to make it inaccessible. What? What kind of backwards effing logic is that? Like, just don't include it in this case if you're planning to hide this thing. That actually annoys me immensely. Yeah, I can't actually be bothered to look for this trash for next 10 to 15 minutes just to find a stupid effing macro, which is on the damn phone but apparently can't be used. Unless, wait, there is one last option. Maybe it's based on AI, so if I jam it like right there, it's gonna automatically switch. Is that the case? Hello, phone? Nope, that's not the case. So yeah, not only is the 2 megapixel macro useless as a sensor itself, it's useless based on the system because you can't even access it. What? This is the stupidest thing I have ever seen. Oh well, let's move on to something that actually functions and isn't like hidden in some deep setting somewhere. So moving on, at the front, and this tiny little hole-punched camera, we have a 32 megapixel wide sensor, and that's about as good as it gets. And now moving to the actual like specifications. So this device is the one that boasts the Snapdragon. Just to show you, let's go in here. As you can see, Snapdragon 870. It has 12 gigabytes of RAM, which there is also another version of this which comes with the Dimensity 1200 instead of the Snapdragon. So yeah, there are basically two versions. I'm in Europe, specifically in Poland, and that's basically what they're selling here. Additionally, one thing that I will mention that I find interesting on these devices is this inclusion right here. So even though you have 12 gigs of RAM, which is already a decent amount to be completely honest, they have this neat feature where they allow you to basically allocate your storage to be converted to RAM. So you can, for instance, allocate 7 gigs of RAM, and that 7 gigs will basically now act as RAM. So instead of 12, you have now, 19 gigs of RAM. And there will be a little bit of a, degradation, just it won't function as well as the actual dedicated 12 gigs that you have. That is because this device does use, UFS 3.1. It is still the fastest one, but in terms of like RAM and how quick that is, it pales in comparison to that. So obviously not as good, but still, if you need more, it can be used up if, there's a need for it. So again, a fairly neat feature. Now moving on, this device does have a 4500 mAh battery with a 65 watt charger. It should be charging fairly quick. There is no advertised speeds for it, so can't really tell you anything. I could possibly just guess that it's gonna probably charge in like about 20 minutes to like probably 70%. That is just a guess based on the charging speed, but I could be completely wrong. And lastly, the price of this device is about 800 euros, which, to be completely fair, I don't think it's worth it. The Reno 6 might be worth, 400 euros that it costed. This basically being twice as much, also having just 90 Hz refresh rate, and older Snapdragon, or crappier than what you consider a flagship, is not worth the money. Just because it has a curved display AMOLED with a fingerprint sensor underneath, I don't think it's worth 800, especially considering that something like a Xiaomi, one of their Xiaomi flagships, will most likely blow this phone out of the water while having better specs and basically the same price. So that's why I don't consider this to be worth the money. The design wise, it's nice, but if you're buying the phone based on how it looks like, you're doing something wrong, I would say. Especially when you're spending some roughly $800 on just how the phone looks like. and not really how it performs, because in terms of how it performs comparing to what you're paying, you overpaying for it virtually. Like at this price range, I'd at least keep everything, give me at least 120 Hertz, or give me better processor. But yeah, we don't have either of those. So yeah, and I believe there is also no wireless charging in this, but just to be sure, I'll move over my phone and slap it on the table right here just to be certain. Yeah, no wireless charging. I have a little bit embedded wireless charger in the desk right here, but yeah, it's not charging it, so there is also no wireless charging in this price. So the only good sides of this is the amazing charger, because that is a really good charger. The AMOLED display, or Super AMOLED, being curved and under finger display with a okay refresh rate, but none of those really add up to this price tag. It would need more to be worth that much. So yeah, that being said, I wouldn't really recommend this phone. That being said, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.